Welcome or welcome back. This one was a rather long time coming. I literally haven't made a video in a month. You know how it goes, you make a video, you upload it, then you say that okay, you have 6 days to make another one. If you want to stick to one video a week, then it's the next month and you're wondering why you haven't made another. More about that later. I want to talk about two things in this video. One of them is linked to this particular artwork that you're looking at right now. The other one is about the channel and where I am with video making. Spoiler, I'm making new videos, just don't be surprised when I disappear again for a few weeks for no good reason. Going back into videos, I wanted to start with an easier one as a warm-up, then finish those approximately 10 videos or something that I have footage for. I literally have recordings that go back to last year that I haven't turned into videos because procrastination is the best crastination. Yes, that was a wordplay I just came up with. By the way, just a really quick question. See, right now I'm reading from a script. Literally I typed it all down because it would be a recording, editing and most likely listening nightmare if I didn't. But can you tell? Can you actually hear that I'm reading this one out loud at the moment? I'm curious to know because I can't tell it myself. I can't really speak fluently as of now, but obviously I'm working on this issue. This is just a temporary solution. Anyways, the first thing I wanted to talk about is this painting of a crying girl with a domestic animal tag in her ear. Anyone who's been following my works lately, that approximately 2 people, already know that I lately dwelled into making pictures with themes around sadness, death and grief, and this one is kinda part of a series of environmentalist paintings that I've been working on. Before you ask, I don't think I talked about this thing on the channel before, but I'm one step away from finally becoming vegan, and yes, this is an artwork about animal cruelty if it wasn't obvious already, and it's not really original to make a human depicted in the place of an animal. Some would even call it cringe and overdone, but I don't care anymore. I just want to make and talk about whatever I want, and this is one of those. So what is it with me and veganism? Right now I'm at the point where I'm basically vegan with one exception. I drink on average 2 or 3 servings of coffee with milk a day. Yes, that is a lot of milk and a lot of coffee, but I'm on my way of putting down both of them. I might make a video about my whole vegan journey someday, so I'll just tell you the short version here. Basically, it started with me slowly getting awakened by the many injustices and cruelties of the world, and at one point I was just so disgusted about eating meat in general that I decided to become vegetarian. That was in 2019. It was a multiple step process and I stopped eating different meat products one by one, and then I limited myself to eating meat products about 5 times a week. At the time I was working at a warehouse 5 or 6 days a week, and I decided that I'll only eat meat products when I'm there in the food break, with the clear goal of quitting meat at my last day at that job, which was January 31st, 2020. After being just vegetarian for about a year, I started cutting out animal and dairy products one by one until pretty much the only 2 that remained were cheese and milk. But I managed to quit cheese as well a few months ago, and I'm gradually drinking less and less milk. I know that many people just decide to go vegan immediately, but I was really afraid of withdrawal symptoms and just overall a blow to my entire system. I mean, I wasn't really concerned about my health, I was just afraid that I won't be able to sustain it, but it's been going wonderfully so far the way I approached it, and soon I'm planning to put down the last serving of milk I'll ever consume. This painting is somewhat like an early farewell of my omnivore days that are soon gonna be over. Also, yes, I wanted to make it more visceral, so I added a text because I like putting sad text next to my characters, and I was thinking about cutting it. but I left in that single visible nipple. I remember hearing from the creators of the comic book saga, which is pretty much the only serious comic book series I ever read, that non-sexual nudity humanizes characters. But we also know that it gives an extra punch to the viewer, especially with my character being a prepubescent girl. I'm not sure if I managed to get her look young enough. I really struggle to depict a certain age many times, especially when it comes to children. I mostly make pictures of adults. I know that people would say that it's tasteless. You know what is something that isn't tasteless? Soy products. There's this misinformation campaign by the meat industry that soy tastes awful. Guess what? Use more spice, more than how much you'd use for meat, and pay attention to how the texture works for you, because it's easy to mess up by not cooking it for the right amount of time and believe that it's the stuff itself that is inherently horrible instead of your attitude. Okay, I stopped roasting omnivores verbally. I only physically roast omnivores over an open campfire deep in the woods like all vegans do. That's how we get our power. Some say it's the B12 supplements, but it's literally the cannibalism. Just recently someone started harassing me on Reddit under an environmentalist picture, saying that meat tastes yummy and that it's what people need to eat in order to survive and stuff. But I'm not angry. I managed to easily stomach him all. Ha! Okay, enough with the vegan jokes. Let's talk about emus or something.
And I don't know how we got political. Let's talk about f***ing emus or something.
Let's talk about pixels on a screen. How about that? You know what my channel is all about? This script is getting long, by the way. How long is this video gonna be? Anyways, I just mentioned earlier how I have a ton of videos that I wanted to make, and what I really need to do for most of them is edit them. I mean, also write scripts and record a few scenes, but it's really the editing that I always procrastinate the most on. I have some really nice things I wanted to show off, and not just, you know, all depressive and sad. I really want to showcase some artworks I made, and I have so many new things to work on too. My main issue in the moment is most definitely the fact that working on anything that isn't some tragic scene is extra hard for me. I don't want to bore anyone with the causes. Anyone who is, you know, alive right now is aware how the whole world seemingly going downhill, and every good news about anything just feels like some dead cat bounce. But one thing is for sure, as long as we keep creating whatever we feel like creating with joy, there is a great amount of value to be found both in ourselves and in each other. I have no idea how this turned into a self-help monologue, by the way. This script is just a mess, and I should have written an outline first. I'll do that next time. As I said, I skipped an entire month with uploads, but my goal now is to get back to one video a week. It won't be easy, but I'm determined, even if procrastination gets the worst version out of me most of the time. If you're still listening, please tell me in the comments what is the thing that you're working on right now. Tell me what is your next creative goal. I promise that I'd like to hear them. I'm really bad at social stuff, but I do appreciate when I see or hear people with enthusiasm, especially nowadays when I'm not having enough of that myself. Hey, this is me speaking the next day of the recording. I made some extra changes on the picture other than making a more finalized rendering. First, I added a runny nose for an extra ugly crying effect. Also, her not wiping it away could be a sign of being kept as an animal without teaching a kid how to clip their faces clean. I made some bruises. First, the fingerprints on her upper arm where she's holding her hand, and I made them look more fresh than the one on the other arm that is almost only yellow and green by now, showing that this is an ongoing abuse. And as I was looking at pictures of abuse victims, I saw this kid with a giant bruise covering half his face with the outline of the fingers being visible. And I couldn't not add those as well. For those saying I went a bit far, I was thinking about missing an eyeball, a nose, missing hand, giant stitch marks, knocked out teeth, her being covered in blood, you know, but I held back to not turn it into a borderline fetishistic gore fest. Now, hopefully this all made some sense. By the way, I just wanted to tell you there is the number on the tag. It's not random. I just decided to get my birth date, remove the zeros, and shuffle the digits without any particular reason. It's just an Easter egg for myself. Vegan Easter egg, by the way, but I thank you very much for your attention. As always, have a nice day, do some art even if it involves touching an uncomfortable topic like animal cruelty, even if many people will hate what you make because of, you know, human cruelty. But there is one thing that you must not forget, and it is having fun while doing that. Farewell.